welcome to the May edition of Monthly Makes, where I talk about everything I made in the month of May. Haha, so many M's. We're going to start with the fiber category, which is like knitting and crochet, though lately I've really only been knitting. So not new, but progress update on my Olga jacket by Petite Knit. Look at this! It's coming along. I tried it on, and I think it's looking really nice. I am super happy with the stripe pattern I picked out, even though it's a little bit busy. And see, this is where like the button band is going to be. I'm deciding if I want to do ribbing on the bottom, like the pattern calls for, if I want to finish it a different way, but I'll probably still use ribbing because the button band also needs to be ribbed, I think. But it's looking really good. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. I don't want it to be super cropped, but I've been trying it on. So that's that progress, but also hopping to the pottery category for a second. I made buttons. They're really, really cute. It's this beautiful brown cone 6 clay that I have, and it's not a perfect color match, but it's really close. And I think these are gonna look super fun on here. So I have this whole little set of buttons that I can use for this cardigan, and I'm really excited that they're finished. I also made this tiny dachshund, but we'll get to that in the clay category. So in terms of work in progress, there's this one, my Olga jacket that I'm diligently working on in the Silk Blend yarn by Monostel Uruguay, which I've talked about. And then I am also still working on my wrapped in brioche shawl with the beautiful yarn that Knit Pick sent me. It's taken me a while. Brioche is hard, but it'll be done sometime, maybe not soon. And I started one new project, so I am going to be making some tabby socks, but I got this pattern and it definitely wants you to be a more experienced sock knitter, so I'm actually going to make the rye sock, which I've already started in this pretty green like sock yarn. I think it's from Cascade. I'm going to make the rye sock all the way down to the toes, and then I'm going to follow the instructions for this pattern. So I'm working on those. I anticipate it's going to take a long time because sock yarn is really thin. I finished, I don't know if I already showed this, but I finished my first ever sweater last month, and I finished Oat's first ever sweater this month, and we took some pictures together. He doesn't like it. It doesn't fit his arms very well, but it was a good first try, and honestly, the construction of it was a really good pattern. Let me pull it up. So it was inspired by this project because this is actually the same yarn in pink, and I was like, oh, that's a long-haired dachshund. So I knew the pattern would fit a dachshund body. And then this is the actual pattern, the Portland Raglan Dog Sweater by Calico Radio Knits. This pattern is awesome. They show you every step. There's a YouTube video that goes along with it. I think the construction of the sweater is actually really nice, even though it's for dogs. So it was great. I finished it. It's not the pattern's fault that Oat has tiny stubby legs, so I probably would like modify this part if I were to do it again, but it's cute. It's done, and I actually still even have a little more of this yarn, but I think that's everything in terms of fiber work in progress. So let's get into what I have planned upcoming. In terms of upcoming, since I still have a few things to finish, like everything I just showed you, I don't want to cast on too much more, but I do have this really nice marled yarn that I got when I was in Peru. Kind of looks like this, but it's like a taupe brown and white color. So I was thinking of making this tank top because it's already in this colorway and I do really like it. And it seems like it would be a similar weight. So I'll probably make a gauge swatch and see, because it would be nice to try out a summer knit. In general, I have a few tank tops saved, so I have summer knits on my list, which is funny because I probably won't finish them until summer is over, but you know, it is what it is. And I also bought some really nice alpaca silk. I don't know if there's cashmere in it. Fingering weight yarn. I want to make a really light pullover that is just like a spring summer piece if I need to go into a grocery store or something. I found this pattern that I like, and I like her version of it that it's cropped. So I might do this one, and then there was another one that I had in my favorites. I also really like this pullover with this ribbing pattern, but I think I'll probably make this one later on and get slightly different yarn. So I'm going to start with this one because it seems more straightforward and just see how it looks and see if I like it. So I think that's everything in terms of fiber knitting and stuff. So let's move on to sewing. In our sewing category, this counts as sewing. I've been making charms and adding them to this purse that I made last month, and I got these cute little carabiners that actually work, like they're rated for hammocks and stuff, but obviously I'm just gonna put charms and jewelry on them. I made this little leather frog, which is technically sewing, even though it's leather and hand sewing, and I stuffed him with other pieces of scrap leather and cotton batting. And he's very cute, so that's our first thing in the sewing category. And then I don't really know where to categorize the charms. I mean, ceramic, I guess, but also things that I didn't make are on here, so that's a mix. But the goal is to fill this all with green and yellow charms. I think it's gonna be super cute. I also made, this wasn't this month, but I don't remember if I shared it or not. Oat, my dog, lays on the floor a lot, so I make him little mats so he can be comfortable when he's laying on the floor. And I made this out of fabric I got when we went to Fab Scrap in Brooklyn, and yeah, little lily pad, very cute. I use this pattern. I realized afterwards I probably didn't need the pattern, but I guess I did need it because initially I wasn't sure how to do it, but you sew everything on top and then you like turn it inside out with the quilt batting on the inside. So I think the lily pad's really cute. I'm super happy with it. I also finished, as mentioned last month, wow, something I mentioned that I was going to do, I actually did, the Henrietta skirt. So I made two, as I usually do. I made one out of muslin, but this time I actually finished the muslin skirt well enough that it would be wearable. Usually with muslins, I use really long stitch lengths and then I pull them apart, but I wanted to just see how it would be this time, and I washed this, so that's why it's wrinkly, but it's really cute. On this one, I made my normal 3-channel elastic waistband, and then when I was making it in my final fabric, I actually pivoted from that a little bit. So let me show you. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's with fabric that I got off of Etsy from like a German shop, I think, but I'm making a separate video. It'll either already be posted or whatever about my fabric stash, so you can refer to that one for where this fabric's from. But for the waistband, I decided I wanted to do a little piece of elastic in the middle and then have ties off the end of it. So there's 4 buttonholes, 2 on each side, that the ties come out of. And I think it's really cute. This isn't the best way to show this skirt. Let me make myself bigger. But it turned out really nice. It's a double cotton gauze, so it's super soft. I added the little ruffle detail. It's not in the pattern. And I think that it looks so cute. And now I can slip it on and off because of the extra elastic in the middle without taking the skirt off, which is really nice. This one's not as stretchy in the back for some reason, but this one's really stretchy in the front, so very cute. And this is like a double-sided fabric, so I hemmed the bottom so that you could see the other side of the fabric, and the little ruffles are also in the skinnier like striped fabric. So I think it's really nice. I love it. It's super cute. That one is a success. I think that's everything in terms of what's done for sewing. Oh, I did make a jean jacket. So I took a class. I'd been taking a class at FIT, a real sewing class, which was really exciting. It was like a slightly more advanced level just because I am like an advanced beginner, I would say, but not just a beginner. And we had to make a jacket. Everyone used the same pattern, and then we could modify the pattern in terms of like length and pockets and stuff. But I think it's cute. I learned a ton of different techniques. This isn't the video of it finished. I realize it's not hemmed in this video, but I think it's really helped like up my sewing game and have me understand some of the technicalities with what you're doing. And I realized my flat felled seams, I was using way too much seam allowance, so I'm really happy that I took the class. So that's big news on the sewing front, but the class is over and this is our final product. So I think it turned out really nice. So that's everything there. And then in terms of upcoming, I don't have it on me, but I want to make a top out of, if I have enough, the excess fabric, just like a loose button down that's slightly cropped. I think that'll be really cute. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else on my sewing plate just because I don't want to overwhelm myself. I do have extra denim from this actually, so I wanted to make jean shorts or jorts and practice doing a button fly because I've never done a button fly before, but we'll see. I've been busy, so I don't want to have too many crafts on the roster. So that's it for sewing and upcoming. So next, in the world of pottery, we have Big news. Big news, everybody. I did my first ever Cone 10 firing. I think I also was going to make a different video about that, and I never edited it together. So I'll just briefly explain. You can fire or like cook in the clay oven your pieces to different temperatures. Cone 6 is a slightly lower temperature. I'm simplifying, but it's like when chemical reactions occur, it's not really just a temperature like an oven, but I digress. Cone 10 effectively is hotter and more energy is expelled. So you get different looks to the glazes. There's also a different type of glaze atmosphere. So this new way of firing at my studio gives you these beautiful deep reds. So I made a ton of test pieces. I got samples of Cone 10 porcelain because I didn't have it before, and some Cone 10 like beige clays, and I'm gonna show you the pieces that came out, and I'm so happy with them. So I made this beautiful gaiwan, which you put like tea leaves in there, and then you put the lid on, and you steep it, and then the tea leaves don't come out, right? Yeah, and you hold it by this little phalanged lid. But this turned out so gorgeous. The reds, like I should film this in a higher quality for you to see, but the red colors so deep and beautiful, and I did this like matte green on the rim, and I'm super happy with it. Cone 10 porcelain is pretty much the same when you're throwing as Cone 6, so I was like, oh, this is not different, which is really cool. And yeah, gorgeous. So piece number 1, we made a lot, so buckle up. I made this tiny dachshund out of this like speckled beige clay with a matte green finish on him. Love it, beautiful. And then a couple test bowls. I actually got 2 different beige clays, and they look pretty much exactly the same. So I'm probably gonna pick whichever one has better stats, but this one is a little bit lighter, and I used the same amount of clay. So I don't know if that's a data point or not. And I was testing the studio glazes, so that's why it looks like that. These are cool. Love the colors. So happy. And then I made a little teacup to go with my gaiwan to put tea in. It's really small. But I was testing this purple glaze, and then I think the inside is a celadon or a chun, but it's so pretty. I love all these colors. I'm so happy with how everything turned out. And then the last thing from the Cone 10 firing, I had a lot of that beige clay left over. I made this pretty phalanged bowl so you can pick it up easier, and tested the same red clay that's on the gaiwan. It looks pretty much the same, which is nice. It's consistent. It gets like this beautiful speckled modeling that you can't really see on the video because this clay has like grog or speckles or something in it. And this is also the same as the inside of this one. So you can see how different the clay bodies, like this is a white clay body, this one is like a beigey brown, makes the same glaze look very different. But I'm really happy with the shape and size of this, so I'll probably make more of these as little like snack breakfast bowls. So that's it for Cone 10. And then I already showed you I made all these cool buttons for my Olga jacket. I glazed one side with clear and the other is just left bare, and I'll probably have the bare part on the outside and this part on the inside so it's not rough up against the knitting. And let's see, I did also have some normal Cone 6 stuff come out. I'm making this new little series of these little creature cups. So I throw on the wheel a like round bowl, and then I take it off and I manipulate it with my hands. I saw someone doing this on TikTok actually. Let me pull it up so I can credit her because I really enjoy her content. All right, so her handle is Liz Potts with a Z, very cute. But I saw this video and she explains how she throws pieces on the wheel and then kind of just sculpts and pulls on them with her hands. She probably didn't invent this technique. Everything in pottery is like ancient, has been done before, but I really like the way she approaches this, and I think her pieces look really cool and really unique, and she explained it super well. So I basically emulated what she was doing there and just held the bowl in my hands and kind of shaped it around my fingers. So when I hold it, you can see these divots and it fits in my hands really well. And then on the topic of hands, I made little hands for the feet. And then all the toes broke off before the bisque firing and I had to fix it, but it worked. And then it's hard to see on here, but I very lightly spray painted this whole thing with just like watered down underglaze that is orange. You can kind of see on the inside. And this is my dragon fruit clay from Imco. This is Cone 6, but I think he's really cute. I added ears with little ear piercings, so maybe I can add some jump rings from my charm making, jewelry making thing, and it can have little earrings. But yeah, I'm super happy with this piece. I want to make a lot more like it. I think it's just fun and it's still functional. I can put this in the dishwasher. Probably won't because of the toes, but I can drink out of it. It's totally food safe, and I really love this combination of glazes and sculpture motifs, and it makes me feel like I'm really coming into my own with my pottery. So emotional moment. But in the same vein, not exactly the same. Let's stop the TikTok for a second. Also, for my guy wand, I followed this video. I love his tampon commercial. Let's one moment. Skip. I love his content. This is the handle, Sin Chuan Lin. I may be mispronouncing that, but he shows you how to throw different shapes on the wheel, and that's what I followed. Let me pause for this guy wand, and that's why it turned out so awesome, because his instruction is awesome. So credit where credit is due on the tutorials. This guy, one, beautiful, love it. And then I made another piece. You can see it being fully functional right now, but I made this base and it has water in it, so I'm not going to tilt it too much. But I have a little flower frog in there. That's how the flowers are sticking straight up. And the edge is inspired by this moth that I saw on Pinterest. Let me see if I can find the original reference. All right, so here's the inspiration on my left. It's a leaf roller moth. This picture is from someone on Flickr. It doesn't do credits very well on Pinterest, but that's okay. So you can see the orange is not as vibrant. So next time I'll probably spray more orange. But the outside, I wanted to mimic like how the outside of the little moth looks, and I just thought it would be fun to use the same speckled clay, even though like a cream or a white clay would have been more accurate. So that's this piece. It's the beginning of it's the start of me wanting to put more time into each individual piece that I make instead of making more pieces, which sounds funny after I just showed you like 6 things, but these 6 things have been in the works for a really long time, so I'm still not turning out that much work. So that's this. I think it's really beautiful. If I were to make it again, I think I want the rim to be even more exaggerated on this, just so it's very dramatic. But I think I love it and it's perfect. In terms of upcoming, let me see if I can even just search it up on Pinterest. I want to make pottery wall organizer. Yes, okay. I haven't found a shape that I really like, but I have all of my little knitting notions like scissors and barber cord and extra thread and tape measure just in a little bin on the side of my table. And that's fine and all, but I possess skills and I can make things. So I wanted to make like a cute little wall hanging organizer that's made specifically for my supplies. So like a little hook for my scissors and something to put the tape measure around. And I think that it would be nice to make it out of porcelain or like whatever clay that I have. So I've been looking at things like this and trying to create inspiration. Oh, I like these little hanging bits actually, so I'm gonna save that to my Pinterest board. But that's what I have for upcoming. Otherwise, I'm mixing some glazes. Now that I've done cone 10, I want to make my own glaze, and I have, so I will show those results when I have them. But I don't really have plans for pottery. I just kind of go and do things. I should make better plans, but it's a hobby. It's just for fun, so I don't want to make it stressful. So I think that's everything. I totally forgot, excuse me, I made this cute little thing in P5JS that I put on my website. If you want to try it, it's at pondskaterstudio.com/stripecreator. But basically, when I'm working on my knits, I always have like planning them out. I always have such a hard time picking the stripes and visualizing it. So I go on Pinterest and I look for other striped like color combinations, but I don't always like them. So I made this little P5JS sketch. You can change like how many stripes are in the sketch. You can change how thick the stripes are. And then more importantly, you can randomize like just the colors. So I can go through and be like, oh, I really like that combination. Let me download this and try to find yarn that matches that. You can also pick like preset palettes if you want. So monochrome is really nice, complementary, whatever. You can change if it's horizontal or vertical, and then you can also just randomize everything. So you get a totally different like thickness. It doesn't actually look like it's randomizing the thickness, so I'll need to fix that. But it randomizes like the number of stripes and everything, and I think this is really cool. So I think it would be a fun way, because now I'm really loving stripes, to plan my next knits out, and other things too. Like I love, let me download that one. I downloaded that one because I think it's really fun when colors are like really similar but they're still striped. But yeah, so this is totally in the digital category, and I think this is super fun. So I forgot about that, but I think that's everything that I did in May, give or take. So, you know, June might be a little slower, we'll see, but I'm investing more time into each individual craft. So there may not be as many crafts, but they will be high quality. So thank you for joining me on my long ramble. I will hopefully see you next month if I don't forget. And yeah, I'll have another video out either before or after this one. I have no real schedule, just talking about all the fabric in my stash and what I want to do with it and stuff. So that's it. Thank you.